Lesson 26. Topic: Introduction to Meditation. Greetings, brothers and sisters. I am Ola. I wanted to give you an introductory lesson on meditation. Perhaps the first lessons I gave were too advanced for someone who hasn't practiced meditation before, but hasn't had much success, and yet wants to try again. Therefore, I propose a new, simpler method for many people. One that won't cause boredom and will increase your desire to achieve the goal, which is to reach the minimum level of meditation and develop your learning in the spiritual world, thus improving your life and the lives of those around you. First, to meditate, you must relax. The easiest way for many people is to do this by controlling their breathing, taking deep breaths. Take as many necessary, but not too many as you could hyperventilate. The moment of relaxation arrives when you feel you can hear your heartbeat, how it moves, how it pumps blood, how the blood circulates through your body, how your muscles make small movements, how the tension disappears. Once you have reached this initial stage of relaxation, you can move on to the next phase. Meditation is not about emptying your mind, not at all. It's about listening to your inner self, to what each of you carries within. It could be a message from your body warning you of something. It could be communication with close spiritual entities. It will be different for everyone. Once you have reached relaxation, as I mentioned before, to begin receiving messages from within, it is as simple as remaining in this deep state of relaxation, controlling your breathing with deep, very deep breaths. Once you have been like this for a while, it will be different for everyone. The relaxation will begin to deepen, and the messages will appear on their own, either as words, images, or even sounds. Once you have heard something in your head other than parasitic thoughts, which I will explain how to eliminate shortly, parasitic thoughts arise because the mind, the ego, wants to be the center of attention, wants to be in control. Meditation is about talking to yourself, eliminating the ego, which isn't your true inner self. It's just the brain of one of the superficial bodies that make you who you are. The astral body controls all your behavior when you are unaware of what it's capable of. Parasitic thoughts disappear simply not by giving them power. If you stop paying attention to these parasitic thoughts, which appear continuously over time, then they disappear. It's like an actor on a stage that no one is watching. Eventually, if that actor sees that no one is watching, they have to leave because their work isn't being observed by any spectators. You have to do the same with the parasitic thoughts. Tire them out. Once the parasitic thoughts have disappeared, you will be able to listen to your inner self more easily. Once you have listened to the first images from within, whatever their origin, and have eliminated or are in the process of eliminating the parasitic thoughts originating from the ego, you are ready to begin the second phase. This second phase involves increasing your mental energy and the energy of the universe that resides within your body. For those of you who don't believe in spiritual energy or spirits in the universe, who believe only matter exists, I am going to give you another technique. You simply have to think about expelling all the negative thoughts you have. In this case, your ego is acting with much greater force because you don't believe in a spiritual force, and that is closing the doors to your solution, to your opening to a new path that can only bring happiness. And that is what the ego wants to prevent, that you don't find that path, so that it continue to be in control. So, what you have to do is the following. Visualize all your negative thoughts leaving your body, passing through your skin. This will eventually exhaust your ego because it cannot fight against the sheer destruction of its energy caused by your negative thinking. Once you reach that point, your body will begin to connect much more consciously. You will feel this energy even if you don't believe it exists, and you will feel it coming from the earth, passing through the base of your spine and rising up from your spine to your head to the root chakra. Even those of you who don't believe in spirit or in spiritual power will eventually come to believe. You will eventually feel it. If you continue on this path, your perspective on life will change and you will begin to be free. For those of you who believe in the spirit, in the fact that there is more than just the matter you see, there is a much more direct path. You simply have to assume the lotus position in yoga. To understand, it's the posture the Buddha used when he meditated. This posture provides a lot of energy and promotes greater energy flow from the first chakra at the base of the spine to the top of the head. Once you have reached this level of relaxation, intrusive thoughts begin to subside or are already under control. You can then visualize your body's aura, which begins to expand. This will provide a greater connection with the universe, and this will increase your energy. The aura acts as a gateway between the universe and you, considering the 7 energetic bodies you possess. Once you begin to emit an aura, and it's already increasing, you'll feel your inner energy and mental energy rising. You'll feel your energy bodies communicating properly with each other. At the same time, you'll feel the earth's energy rising through the chakra at the base of your spine, up your spine and up to your head. Your path will be more direct than that of people who don't believe in the spirit, although they will too eventually believe because they will feel it. Once you are in that state, you are already feeling the energy of the universe flowing through you, circulating and feeding back into your energy, forming a closed circuit with your surroundings. You can then begin authentic meditation. The goal in this case would be communication with the spiritual master, but I already explained how to achieve that in a previous lesson. I will show you how to take a shortcut, but this shortcut is accessible to very few people. The next step, to keep things simple, is to optimize your body's chakras. This will provide you with greater growth in the spiritual world. To do this, you first need to cleanse the energy channels. The technique is simple. Just maintain the relaxed state you described earlier, observing the energy flow. The next step is to visualize the chakras, visualize the channels between them, and see the energy flowing from the bottom up, slowly cleansing everything within them. These channels are usually very clogged for many reasons: diet, daily life problems, lack of meditation, negative feelings from others, a lack of protection against the negativity surrounding you. What you need to do, as I mentioned before, is cleanse the channels. This is done by visualizing the energy rising slowly from the bottom up. It may take a long time, as it varies from person to person. You will then feel the channels clearing and the energy passing from one chakra to another through a clean channel. The energy feels much more transformative, much more powerful, and your mental capacities will begin to change. Don't rush this phase, because how far you can go often depends heavily on your environment. The environment will always make it difficult. By environment, I mean your internal and external circumstances. Once you reach this phase, the next step, as I mentioned in previous lessons, would be to open the energy centers of the chakras, which should already be opening. This includes the 7 basic energy centers in the head, used for communication with spiritual entities, and later the smaller centers, so that one day you can communicate with any spiritual entity like any medium. That would be the step. In short, this would be the initial step for people with no experience in meditation. I think I've explained it as simply as I could. I'll explain the subsequent phases in other lessons, and I will try to simplify them. So until next time, brothers and sisters.